Hello together. I am glad that you've come, and I might wait a moment, but somebody is coming. Today we're talking about stress busting techniques, something I think very important, and we will have you will get a few tips how you can bust your stress. And I think if you are, especially in chronic stress, you will need that. And therefore I picked up this this topic, and I think we will start because I never know when you will be online or whether you look or watch the replay. So let's start with the first one, and the first one is so important. It is physical activity. It might be that you are not really used to walking, going out, swimming, even riding a bicycle, because you feel tired, you feel no energy, you're lost of energy, so to say. It's on a very low level, and that is normal when you're in stress. It has to do with working too hard, thinking too much, circling in with your thoughts as well, so to say. Worrying, constant worrying is one of these things that is causing it partly. And what is the difference between a depression and a burnout? People that are in a depression do not feel they have energy, but the one who is running into burnout thinks he or she still has got energy to spend, even though it doesn't exist, so to say, because you are already in a depression, but you don't feel it because you are looking at results. You want to get the results, and even though you're not really capable of it anymore because you don't have the energy, you get up, you get to work, but you don't really get your tasks done anymore because you're too tired, you're not able to concentrate, etc. And physical activity is helping you to get out of depression. It is, if you go into a clinic to have a depression treated, they will really advise you to go on walks, and they might even do group walks, because of physical activity is changing the chemistry in your brain, and it is changing to the positive. So eat a balanced diet. That's something that when you are in stress and chronic stress, you hardly do. You eat on the go, so to say, and that is not healthy at all. Here it says eat a balanced diet, and that doesn't mean burgers, it doesn't mean pizza, it doesn't mean noodles too much, etc., etc., or toast, white bread. Sorry, I've got a bit of it. It's not a cold, it's allergy. Eating a balanced meal means 3 meals a day. a good, decent breakfast with oatmeal, for example, some fruits, nuts, and perhaps a bit of milk. So that is really healthy breakfast. You can have quark, or I don't know, I know quark is an English word as well, or yogurt, cheese, whole wheat bread. That's all fine for the morning. In the morning you can have some sweets as well, because when you get up the sugar level is quite low because you haven't eaten during the night, so you can fill it up. The question is how you're filling it up. When you have white bread toast, you will notice the sugar level is rising very quickly, but it is dropping at the same speed. So when you choose a whole wheat bread, you will notice, or oats, you will notice that the sugar level is rising slowly and it's not going up to the sky, and it will stay on a certain level and reduce or decrease slowly. So that is something for breakfast. At lunch, you should really give yourself time to eat without the phone. Just eat with your colleagues. Or if you need to be alone because you've been in 3 meetings before, just sit down, enjoy your meal and eat mindful. That means when you take a bite, smell on it. Is it warm? Is it cold? Then you might touch it with your lips. What does it feel like? Is it, so to say, soft? Is it tender? Is it structured? Has it got seeds? So what does it feel like? So when you put it into your mouth, on your tongue, is it sweet? Is it sour? Is it bitter? What is it like? The tongue has different areas of taste, so play with it. And then when you start to chew it, is it easy to chew, or is it, so to say, tender? Is it soft, etc., etc.? I think you get the idea. So concentrate on the process of eating. And at lunchtime you shouldn't have as many carbohydrates as you had in the morning. So reduce the carbohydrates, don't drop them completely. And in the evenings, many people tend not to have any carbohydrates, and that's healthy because you need to reduce your carbohydrates at some stage during the day. That's healthy. Too many carbohydrates are not really healthy, and you should really reduce sugar. When you are stressed, you tend to eat a lot of sugar, and I can tell you it's not healthy. So drop the sugar, drop the I think I'm coming to it. Yeah, I will come to it because we have to talk about drinks as well, and it'll come up later. So I think you get the idea. How to eat a balanced diet. Make sure you don't eat sweets in between as well. So next point is reduce or control your phone use and screen time. Reduce it if possible, but reducing doesn't mean not to use it at all, but to control it. And that's so important because before you go to bed, you shouldn't use your phone or any other device because the melatonin isn't coming down as much as your body needs it, that you will be able to sleep. So make sure you don't use these devices in the evening, or you put them aside and listen to an audible or a meditation. But the same applies really throughout the day. Don't use your phone or your computer all the time. Many people are using social media and scrolling down, and I just had a talk this morning to somebody, and she said, well, she's got loads of participants who are scrolling through TikTok. TikTok is something, it's got short videos, and many are just, how is my day? So they are really scrolling down and watching or looking at somebody else's life. What is it like? And of course, that produces jealousy, and that's no good. And if you want to reduce your stress, you should reduce or control that time. Of course, when you need to work on presentations and on your computer at work, don't get me wrong, do it. But that's what I mentioned. Don't use it during lunchtime. Yeah? Give yourself breaks. And normally you can, or you choose to do some work at some stage because you've got a to-do list. So try to combine screen time and non-screen time in that way that you choose when you are going to do a task. And I had, in one project, I had to bring letters to a letterbox. So that is something where I don't use my phone. So I did that after I've been working with the screen on the computer. So just to give me a break. Or I had to do some presentations, which I never used or never did with a Beamer. I had some script which I used, and that was on paper. So at that time I didn't use any screen. Sometimes when I just needed a few words, I used my phone. It depended how I'm doing the presentation and what I'm talking about. But I think it gives you an idea. Just control it. It doesn't mean don't use it at all. It can also mean you are using your screen time to learn how to reduce your stress. So you could do an online coaching, how to reduce your stress, with exercises that have to be done between the sessions. And then you can download them and print them and fill out by hand. It doesn't have to be by computer. So that's what I mean. And the thing about stress and overwhelmers, you have got the feeling you lost control. So when we talk about reducing your screen time or phone time, it means you are taking over control, and that already reduces your stress. So practice self-care, and there are so many ways you can do it, and I will just talk about a few just to give you an idea what you could think about. For example, going for a walk, we mentioned already, taking a bath. Why not put rose blossoms around your bath or even in the water, and to enjoy the warm bath, the nice scent, and the view, the candles, if you put some on up, etc., etc. Don't ever use your phone in the bath. You know why, I think. So you could light candles, which I mentioned already, when taking a bath, but you could do it during your day as well. Of course, at work you can't do it, but you can do it at home. So use it as an instrument to enjoy, to relax. then you could read a book. And you don't have to read the book on Kindle. We still have got books made of paper. So take a book, read in it. It doesn't have to be an educational book. It can be a novel, a romance, whatever you want to read. And the advantage with that is if really your concentration span has reduced or has become more tight, you can stop at any time reading this book and you can pick it up again the next day or in 2 hours, whenever. Exercising, something you might not like because you are already tired, you are already with no or low energy. So how am I going to exercise? Exercising doesn't mean you have to do it for an hour. Just start with, for example, 3 little exercises and repeat them as often as you can. And you will see that you feel energetic afterwards. Yeah. Stretching before going to bed. Well, stretching before going to bed can be, so to say, nasty if you have never done it. You don't have to be a ballerina. Just do whatever you can do, and you will get loads of ideas on the internet, on YouTube, how you can stretch. And don't overdo it, because before you stretch, you should normally warm up. And that means not really running a 10k run, but if you've got an exercise bike, go on it, ride it for a few minutes just to pick up the circulation, to get warm, and then start stretching. Stretching you can do in a different way as well, and then you get warm when you do yoga. Yoga is a brilliant way to stretch and to build up muscles. So that's a good combination. So think about whether practicing yoga could be an idea for you. Yeah, getting a massage. I experienced or found out that you don't really need a long massage when you've got really somebody who understands his or her job. I get a massage for 20 minutes, and last time I needed one, and that was it. I've never been there again. It's, I think, a month ago. So think about it and look for a good masseur, and you will find it really great how you relax. Yeah, practicing a hobby is another one. I don't know whether you have a hobby. I have loads of clients who don't have a hobby, and they tell me, I don't have time for that. And then I tell them, make time. And having a hobby is something, and as you might know, I'm working with people who drunk and drive, or took drugs and drive, and they don't have a hobby. Then all my alarms go on, because they don't take care of themselves. It can be gardening. Gardening is a really good hobby because it connects you with the earth. But it could be running, it could be swimming, it could be working with clay, it could be drawing, it could be drawing mandalas, it could be writing short stories. There is so many hobbies you can have. And I would never tell you what hobby you have to take. But make sure you really find time for the hobby. Yeah, use a diffuser with calming scents. These scents could be rose, these scents could be sandalwood, lavender, or lavender, bergamot, chamomile, etc., etc. There are many others. Have a look into the internet, but these are just a few ideas that you could use to relax, to calm down. The next one is not really for everybody, but I should really recommend trying journaling. There are no rules to it, just to tell you, and you will notice when you do it, and you do it for some time, that the subject and how you write changes, and that is good. And what I'd advise as you might be actually looking at things in a negative way because you're tired, you're worn out, and being positive might cost energy because the human body is made in the way that we tend to look at the negative points and not at the positive ones, and it needs 3 times more positive looks at situations, etc., to compensate one negative, so that a negative point of view is 3 times stronger than a positive one. So I really advise you to add, when you're journaling, it can be done at the end, gratitude journaling. So what are you grateful for? And write down 5 things every day what you're grateful for. You can start with waking up. So you are alive, you're healthy, you've woken up, you are in full control, and that would be one, for example. Or the sun is shining, or it's got snow, it's got lovely food, whatsoever. So there are so many opportunities and possibilities to be grateful. I can't actually list all of them. Think about it. It might take some training to find 5 every day. And I did that with a group of people, and they really found it difficult at first, and they just mentioned 1, and after 2 weeks, and I suppose they have thought about it in between, they had 5 and more. So just to give you an idea, that is something. And being grateful helps you to shift to the positive point of view. So now I come to something I have mentioned before: caffeine intake. That means black tea and coffee. And it means energy drinks, which are even worse. These are drinks that push your system very high up, but it'll drop as fast as it's risen, and then you get tired. So if you don't want to be stressed out anymore, stop drinking the high amount of coffee or black tea. If you drink black tea, sorry, and an alternative is green tea, because green tea is not pushing your system up as far as black tea does. It rises, it stays on a certain level, and it comes down slowly. So think about it, whether you might change to green tea. It is to find an alternative for caffeine is more difficult, but perhaps you can reduce it. It doesn't matter that you drink some coffee in the morning, for example, a cup of or a mug of coffee, but doing it all day long is not healthy. And to go with coffee, sugar is just the same. reduce your amount of sugar, but I think I mentioned that before. So socializing, it might well be that you're not socializing anymore because you think, oh, it's a waste of time, but having a good network that can support you will help you a lot. So don't miss out in socializing. Don't forget to take time off and spend it with your friends. Socializing will add years to your life. So never stop being or spending time with your friends. Just take the time and you will realize how it revitalizes you. Another thing I'm mentioning very often is boundaries. Set boundaries. Say no. I know when you're in chronic stress, especially when it comes to burnout, you might not be able to really say no, to make decisions, because you have lost, so to say, your connection between brain and heart or gut. Your guts are not working properly anymore, and you have to make these choices only, so to say, by decisions with your mind. And these can be changed very easily, but there is a German saying, and I don't know how to translate it right now. What am I interested in the talk of yesterday? So if you change your mind, it's okay. And it might be actually difficult for your surroundings because you keep switching your mind, your decision, because of your chronic stress or parts of the burnout. And therefore it's really difficult for your surrounding and your friends to stick with you, and that might well be. So think about it, and when you journal, the advantage of it is you structure your thoughts. When you write down, you have to process what you're thinking. So when you do that for, let's say 3 months, you will notice how things change and how you're able to start to make decisions and to find yourself again. So if you can't set boundaries right now, be careful with it, but do things that support your decision making. Procrastination is something we like to do, and there is a saying, what you don't start in 72 hours, you won't start. So make sure, if you want to get things done, not to procrastinate. And I don't know about other systems, but in Apple, I don't know when it came up, whether it just came up. I found that when you put up tasks, you can actually put or add subtasks now. So that might help you not to procrastinate anymore or to postpone things, because you've got your main goal, so to say, your main task, but you can write down subtasks, and so the mountain doesn't appear as large as it's seemed before. So think about it, if that might help you. And procrastination is not laziness. It means that you are partly emotionally blocked, and that's why it can help, actually, besides creating subtasks, talking to people. So you need the socialization, because the exchange might help you to find how you can start. So cuddle people. As humans, we need love. We need people to appreciate us, to love us. And there have been experiments with monkeys who didn't get any love, and they died because of that. So don't be afraid of cuddles. And of course, when you have difficulties socializing, it might even be more difficult to cuddle. But I think cuddling, even though you might not really feel it, because you have this, so to say, wall which is really thick, it might really help you to reduce your stress. All these things will not give you the feeling of relaxation immediately. You will have to practice it, and you have to try out which really helps you to reduce your stress. These are ideas, and you don't really have to do everything, but it will help if you do it repetitively and find out what helps you to reduce your stress. Another thing is a pet. If you have a dog is a wonderful companion. You have to go out for walks. So what we said at the beginning, go out for walks. You can cuddle him. So it doesn't have to be a person you cuddle. And you have a responsibility, and you can't say no. He needs his food. He needs to go out. He needs to pee, etc., etc. So it gives you a routine, and routines and habits have one very great advantage. They need low energy to practice them because they are repetitive. You go out with your dog to a certain time, and you will do it whether it rains, snows, there is a thunderstorm, your doggy has to go out. So you will do it. You won't give him some food because it's a habit, you have to do it. And you know where the food stands, and it's really repetitive. So, and our brain has created clusters. It's like reading. At the beginning, you read every letter and you mispronounced them. Now, when you're really trained to read, you can read a page diagonal. Oh gosh, you know what I mean. You don't have to read every line, and you understand what is on the page because you are able to pick out just the important words and phrases. So, and it is just the same with routines and habits, and that's why they are so important. Now I'm coming to the end, and at the end I want to advise something to you which you might know. There is a masterclass this month, a free one, you don't have to pay for it, and it'll take place on the 17th of November at 5 p.m, so to say next Friday. And I'd really like to invite you. I will put in the link in the comments. I'm very sorry, I know LinkedIn isn't supporting the comments. It is now, it should be on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Facebook. When I have finished the masterclass, I will put it on the page and my profile on LinkedIn, so you've got that as well. That was it for today, and I hope it has given you some ideas how you can reduce your stress. Have a great time, and I hope to see you next Friday in the masterclass.